recording. Okay, so we're ready to get started. I just got on the main library website. That's at library.ttu.edu. And I'm just going to teach you a few things here. This is the Start Here box. You can type anything into this box, and should it find some kind of response, almost every topic on campus has some results in here. I'm just going to do something basic so you can see what the screen looks like, but we'll do some more in-depth searching in a database in just a second. And so this is what the screen looks like here. This tool is actually called our discovery system, and that is because not only are the items from the catalog in here, which means anything that the library owns is located in this search engine, but also some of our journal articles are now able to be pulled up through here. Before, the physical library and the databases with journals were very separated, and so the library has kind of figured out a way to get that together, and so we'll see all kinds of results in here. The first thing I want to point out is this recommended research guides. As you do some searching, you're going to find that these populate in this search only, and if you're looking for some additional help, these are what librarians have put together in these areas. So as we will look at one that I put together for you, specifically on your for your class, then you could also see that for other topics here. So let's just kind of look down the center here. This is a book. I know it's a book because it's labeled that. And then it tells me some information over here. It has a university library. That's the library that it's in. We have several libraries on campus, not only the university library, the one that has all the arches that looks like a radiator, that's the university library, and that's where my office is. And then it tells you what part of the library it is. It's in the university stacks, and then this is the call number for that. And sometimes people think they can take the LB and go up to the stacks that's up on the floors up above us, and find the book, but there are so many books up there, you cannot. You need this whole call number, LB 1060.S841999, to find the book. And then just make sure that it's sitting on the shelf and not checked out before you run up there. Another feature that we've just recently added is these Associated Press videos. And what we're hoping to do, I'm sure you've heard of the Associated Press. A lot of times you'll see little news blurbs that are quoting the Associated Press, and this is actually videos from the Associated Press. And so anything, any topic that relates to this, they're going to try to populate some videos in here, and they might be useful to use in a presentation or in a PowerPoint. Feel free to embed them in any tool that you need to. Now this is an ebook, and I can read that just by clicking on this online access. So then the next screen, I would be actually in the book and probably on the table of contents, so I could start moving through the book. So if you ever see that, feel free to click on it. And then I'm just going to look down here and see if we have a few other types of materials. Here's a reference book. Here's an academic journal. And so previously, as I was saying, this would not be in this database with the catalog. But now that's why it's called the discovery system, where it's looking through the catalog and different databases. So to look at an academic journal, you would just click on the PDF and the article would come up. And we're going to discuss that just a bit more in just a second. But that is a quick rundown of this screen. Does anybody have any questions per se? Okay, then I'm going to get back on our library homepage and see if what else we want to point out. So over here, I like to always point out the off-campus login, especially being a distance class mostly, I think y'all are. If you are not on campus, then when you're trying to do research, you need to sign in with this off-campus login and then navigate to the database that you're going to use for your research, and then it'll know that you're a Texas Tech student. So it will allow you to get the materials instead of asking you to pay like $35.99, or sometimes they're $39.95. So just look for that. And then sometimes I point out this computer availability, but if y'all are not really too much here on campus, you may not need to know that, but this displays nicely on your phone. And then I am going to move over here to this personal librarians link. It's the fourth one down under services, and I'm going to click on that. And this puts us on to our research guides, and I'm going to scoot down the center box here to get to Family and Consumer Sciences Education. So I'm going to click on that. And we are actually on this first tab called Databases, Journals, and Articles. But we're going to go ahead and click on this tab for our class. And it looks very similar because quite a few of the same resources are here, but it's just built for your class specifically. Here is all my contact information. Feel free to contact me however you like. Now that you're kind of used to the link through Skype, feel free to use that. A lot of times I'm green, and if you just have a question, I'll be happy to answer you that way. Or if you need to call, or if you happen to be on campus and want to stop by the office, feel free to do that. And then my email is here as well. It's pretty simple. It's cynthia.henry@ttu.edu. Okay, these are the best databases for your topic area. I'm just going to do an overview of what each one of these is broadly. Academic Search Complete is so broad, you can find any topic in there, but occasionally your really good narrowed searches happen in there as well. ERIC and Education Source is specifically for education, so looking at Family and Consumer Sciences, if your topic is related around education, these two would be really good, but since it's a multidisciplinary topic, feel free to look at some of these others too. PsycInfo is really useful. It has like a lot of behavior and instruction, as well as Scopus and Web of Sciences, anything with social sciences. And then Business Source Complete is related to business, and this is a little bit more related to health. So depending on what you're looking at in the Family and Consumer Sciences topic, you will select one of these. I thought we would go ahead and use PsycInfo tonight to kind of dig around in. I'm going to click in there, and then it's going to bring up my database. Oh, it looks like somebody's got a question. Carmen is trying to connect. Is there any way she can without you calling her? No, I don't think so, but I will definitely try again to add her. Let me just do that real quick. So usually we can just get down here and add them. You've invited her. Let's see if she gets in. Okay, there you go, Carmen. Yay, Carmen's in. Let's see if I can quickly get somebody else in here too. Let's look and see if we can get Rachel to be added. All right. I don't know if Rachel made it. Oh, yes! Yay, Rachel. She's trying to connect real quick. Let's see if it makes it. Okay. And if that happens, I'm going to stop presenting and then re-present so that they can see potentially. But you know what? I don't see that her thing is connected. Okay. All right, so Carmen. So, because I don't think she added any voice. So I'm not sure what's happening, if that's on her end or my end. I'm going to keep going though. I'm going to minimize that again. and keep going. Okay, so let's see what we see. I can't hear or see anything. Yeah, I think so. Okay, maybe y'all are gonna have a conversation. I'm not gonna. Yes, yes, I think so. Yes, I see that. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and keep going. Here is the database that we landed on. This is the screen, the front screen for PsycInfo. You're going to see we have quite a few EBSCOhost databases. We have about over 200. And in fact, a lot of times I tell students, what will happen is they will have found some really good research and they thought they emailed it to themselves, but then the email doesn't come through, and they come and ask me, can you help me find that article again, because it was perfect for what I needed. And I tell them, if you can tell me which database you're in, the title of PsycInfo, then, or whatever database you use, then I would definitely be able to help you find it. But if you can only tell me that you're in EBSCO, then sometimes we'd be looking through lots of different databases, so a lot of times we can't find it. So I try to emphasize that by saying you really need to know which kind of cookie you want, like Oreo, as opposed to Nabisco instead of the vendor. So just know the title to the database. And on this screen, each one of these is a title to a database. So if once you get in there, you'll know which one you're using. Okay, so I'm going to click on Advanced Search. I just typically use this search screen because it gives me a few more search boxes. And then I usually make sure that I'm looking at the scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Now, I caution you, if you click this, the only thing you're going to get back is journal articles. So if you're really looking for a book or a newspaper article, do not click this. But if you really want some quality research information, you want to look at studies on your topic, this is what you need to be doing. And scholarly, peer-reviewed, refereed, juried, those are all the same terminology. And it just means that those articles have been sent to a panel of experts in the field before they've been published into these specific journals. So let's go ahead and do some searching. I'm just going to type in consumer science. Oh, I see somebody is trying to get my attention. Hold on. Here I come. Let's see, Carmen. I think I have that number. Hold on. Let me look at my email real quick. I think it would be here. Let me see if I can dig that out real quick. I'm going to send this to her real quick. Sorry, y'all are seeing a lot of mess. Okay, let's get back over here. Okay, so what I did is I ran a search for consumer science. I have about 1,000, well, almost 2,000 here. And so that is too broad. I need to narrow that down. I'm going to add the term learning. And we're down to 108. And now that is a very good number. I try not to have too much more than 100 and not too much less than about, I don't know, 20, 25. If you get too small, maybe you used a term that has eliminated some other options that you could look at. So just changing your key terms with using different synonyms, or let's say if you wanted to add in a population here, instead of maybe using the word teenagers, if you would use the word adolescents, that will get you a lot more results. So just by playing with your key terms, you may be able to broaden that back out or narrow back down depending what you need to. I find that when you get to about 100, 75, 100, these articles listed here are pretty on target of what you're looking for. So that's what I aim for. Of course, if you ever get in here and you're trying to do some searching and you're using some keywords and you're just not finding anything, feel free to email me, because that's a good time. Maybe we just need to be in a different database and then you would be finding everything that you want. Or maybe we just need to use a specific term and I can help you identify that term quicker than you trying to dig it out. So feel free to shoot me an email at that point. Okay, I'm just going to scoot down here and see if we can find something that's interesting. Let's look at this one. So I'm just going to click on the title here, and that will get me into the record of this item. And this is the title to the article, and here are the authors. Oh, look! This one's from Roxy. I didn't even see that this was from Texas Tech. I just like the title, so that's funny. Anyways, and here is the source, and the source is the journal title. So it's the Family Consumer Sciences Research Journal. Now, occasionally we have people that get confused that, you know, you have the article title and the journal title. So don't let that throw you. And then this is from volume 41, issue 3. I know it's the issue number because it's sitting in the parentheses. So anytime you see a number in parentheses, you know that's an issue number. But occasionally in this line, you're going to see the word issue or NO for number. And then that means that the number following is the issue number. Excuse me just a second. And then this is from March to 2013, and it starts on page 235 to 253. And all of that I just talked about needs to be in your citation if you're going to use this article in any kind of research. A nice feature about this database is it will put it together for you over here on the far side. So if you just click on the site, it will build the citation for you. You should be using APA. I'm just going to scoot down to that. And then you can highlight this and drop this into Word or into an email, however you're going to store your research. The one thing that I noticed is this summer they started adding in the hanging indentation. Before, you had to add it yourself. And I'm not sure how that's going to copy and paste over. So just be aware of that and make sure that you end up with a hanging indentation there. And then I always just try to look at the numbers and make sure nothing gets reversed, because sometimes that happens. It's easy for somebody to type in, you know, 253 to 253 instead of 235 to 253. And then to get out of this, you just have to click on this gray box up in the corner. And then let's talk about how journals are published. So remember, journals can be published annually, quarterly, seasonally. So sometimes instead of a number here, there's actually going to be a word like fall or winter. And don't let that throw you in your citations. All that needs to be included. Okay, let's look at some other pieces to this record. I'm just going to scoot down a bit. We have any questions? Oh, thanks. And so here's the abstract here in the center, and it's just a summary of the article. Of course, you can see that the terms are bolded from what we put into our key terms, our keyword terms, and sometimes that just helps you navigate that paragraph just a little bit easier. Now, sometimes these keywords are labeled author-supplied keywords or just keywords. And they're useful, but they're not quite as useful as these. These subject terms is how this article was indexed into this database. So if I was really wanting to look at this topic, consumer science and learning, I may want to see what these terms are and maybe use these up in the keyword terms. So like even this experiential learning might be a better term than just learning by itself. If I click on any of these, you see that they're hyperlinked. That'll automatically run a subject search, and we'll do that in just a second. But I wanted to point out a few other things. Here in PsycInfo, a lot of times they will tell you what population is being studied and what methodology it is either empirical or quantitative or qualitative, and that is sometimes listed here. So if that is something you're interested in looking at, or if an assignment tells you you need to know if this is empirical or quantitative, then you can come in and try to look for those through the methodology in the record. And then let's get back up to the top. Let's say this is an article that we've decided it's really good, it's on target for our research. How would we go about reading that? Over here on the left hand side, we see this PDF. It says PDF full text. I'm going to click on that, and it will show me the article right here in the center. Now, sometimes you have the option of having PDF full text or HTML full text. And I always encourage you to use the PDF full text if you have that option, because the PDF is like a scanned copy of the journal itself. So I'm just going to scan through here. Oh, like this table. The PDF includes tables, charts, graphs, pictures that the HTML text will not include. And the other nice thing is we all try to write down our information for our citations, but sometimes we just forget. And if you have the PDF, a lot of times you can build it from the outside edges, because look here, if we scooch back up, we have the title and the authors. We have the we have the page numbers, because it actually has the page numbers broken out. Here's the journal title, and then I bet you here's the volume and issue and all that information that we needed. So, and here's even the DOI. So you would be able to do that from this screen as well. Now, if I wanted to print this or save this, I need to hover down so I can find a tool that will let me do that. Don't use the print up here. If you use this, you're usually just printing the record we were in, not the PDF itself. Occasionally, it'll let you attach it, but most of the time, you're just going to get the record that we were just looking at. So use this button to save or print if need be. And depending on what version of Adobe the PDF is in, your toolbar may be over here on the side or up here at the top. And now they've started doing the interactive Adobe version, and there will be a download button down here in the corner on this side if you run into one of those. And if we do tonight, I'll try to make sure I point that out to you. Now, that's a lot of information I've covered so far. Does anybody have any questions? Y'all doing okay? Okay, good. Thanks, Kayla. Okay, I'm going to get back. I'm going to use my back button here in the upper corner. And then I'm going to use my results list. And then let's look at one that doesn't have a PDF. How would we go about getting that? So on this screen you can see that the PDF is sitting here. And then some other useful tools are this little looking glass. You can hover over that and then it'll start to show you the abstract. That may be enough for you to not have to click back and forth a little bit. Some people like to use that feature, some people don't. I'm going to scoot down and look at this one. So I'm going to get into this record. And we don't have a PDF over here, but we do have this Get It link. And our Get It link is like our links resolver. And sometimes it says Get It, and sometimes it has this SFX. You see that hovering out there to the side? Some certain databases have an SFX button that you need to click on. So look around either for Get It or an SFX button, and I'll show you what that SFX button looks like. It looks like this. So you'll either need to look for this button or the Get It link to find full text if it's not included in the database that you're searching. So I'm going to click on that, and now what it's doing is looking through all the databases we're not in to see if we can find the full text, and it has found it. Here is the full text, and I know that it's sitting here for me. I can click Go, and on the next page I will either be in the PDF itself or on a website where I have to look around for the PDF. So let's see what happens. Okay, so it looks like I've landed onto a screen where I'm going to have to look around for the PDF. And I'm just going to quickly scoot back over here and see. I'm going to close up some windows so I can get to my SFX button again. We're going to be looking for 2000 and 2014, Volume 17, Issue 4. And then let me see if I can get a screen open here that will let me. I cannot get to that button. I'm going to open another one then. Okay, so I'm going to look for 2004, Volume 17, Issue 4, and I don't like the page numbers. It's 319. Okay, let's see, 319. So now I'm looking in the record to find 319, and here it is. So look, here's an option to have the HTML, but here's the PDF right next to it. So I click on the PDF, so that would load up. And then I was hoping this one would be the one with the download button down here, but it's not. Okay, so that's how we find that. I'm going to clean up some windows here, so just give me a second. Sorry about that. There's when I share my desktop, there's a screen at the top that blocks the button. So I had quite a few open so that I could see that. Okay, so now I'm going to get back into my database and use my results list one more time. And then let's just look at another one and see if we can grab it and see what happens when we don't have some full text. So this is no full text. Now you're more than welcome to use this online catalog, but what will happen there is you will get a call number if we own it that will allow you to go upstairs in the stacks to pull the journal off the shelf, and then you're either going to have to read it or copy it or scan it so that you can read it later. And I would always just encourage you to use this interlibrary loan. So this ILL, Iliad Interlibrary Loan, those are all similar terminology, and Iliad is the system that we use to manage all of our interlibrary loans. What happens is not every library can buy everything that is published, right? So what we do is we hold hands with other libraries, and what we don't own, we borrow it from another library, and what they don't own, they borrow it from us. So I'm going to show you with my account what happens from this screen for me to be able to read this article. And then I'll show you how you can set up your own as well, so it'll work from the database just like mine. So I'm going to click on this Go, and what we're doing is we're trying to find this article so that I can read it quickly. So I'm going to click on this Go. I'm going to sign in with my e-reader. And it's going to bring me into an account. This is my Iliad account, and it's actually filled out the whole form for me with the information that I need, the right volume and issue and page numbers. All I have to do is hit submit down here. And then what happens is our interlibrary loan department, they work really hard, and if you submit that request during the business week, they get it back to you in 48 hours. So what will happen is, since my account is set up with my TTU email, they will email me they will email me saying that it's ready for me, and all I have to do is come into my Iliad account and click on the electronically received button here, and then the PDF will be sitting here. Now, once I get to this point, I can view it, and then I can print it or save it or do whatever I want with it once it's sitting here. Notice that I have almost a whole semester to look at this. I probably requested this late last week, and it's just before Christmas that it ends up expiring. And then, if it is not able to get to us electronically, what happens is that they will email you and tell you to come in and pick up the book. Or if you're a distant student, they may deliver it to you depending on where you are and your status as a student. So if you happen to be a student that is in Lubbock that is not classified as a distant student, they won't mail it to you. They expect you to be come on campus and get it. But if you're out of the city, then you're considered a distant student and you have that designation, then they'll mail it to you. So you can come in here and look and see what's been checked out to you. If you're on campus, the document delivery office is downstairs in the main floor of the library here in the university libraries. You know, if you've been in this building at all, there's a big room with lots of computers, and on one wall there's lots of office doors, and document delivery is almost right in the middle of that, and you walk in there and pick it up, and you have to have your ID. If you're a distance student, then you would set that up when you set up your account, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And then they would ask you for your address that you want it to be mailed to. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close this window as well, and I'm going to get back onto our tab for our class, and oh no, it didn't have it sitting here. Well, we can use this one here on the databases journal articles. I just made some changes to this, and I guess they didn't go effective. Well, just one. I just missed one, I guess. So under databases journal and articles, go scroll down and see library services. You'll click here. This screen you'll get, and you'll click on the sign in. And if you've never set it up before, the next screen will be a form. If you're a distance student, make sure that you say that you're a distance student and not a graduate student, because you'll get more privileges. And then you'll just fill out the form about yourself. And then make sure you use your TTU email, because I don't think they use other emails like Gmail. They won't email to Gmail accounts or Yahoo accounts or any other service. Just a TTU. Now, does anybody have any questions about that? That's a bit complicated on how to get to see the article. You're going to first look for the PDF. If there's no PDF, you're going to look to see if you can get it through the Get It link or the SFX button with full text. And if you can do that, then that's great. You will automatically be able to read it. If not, then your option down here will be Interlibrary Loan, and you're going to use it through your Interlibrary Loan. Okay. Oops. Alright, so then the last thing that I wanted to show you is, as we were talking about the subject terms, let's see if we get in here and use experimental learning. I'm just going to click on this, and it will automatically run a subject term. I know that it's run a subject term because it's put it in here with the DE with the quotes. Now that DE is old library speak, and you don't really need to know what that means, but it stands for descriptors, because subject terms were called descriptors once upon a time. And so now it is running a subject term search with this experiential learning, and I can get back in and see if I can find something else by adding in my other terms again. But also I want you to realize that scholarly peer review is no longer marked, so we may want to check that if that's what we're looking for. And then let's kind of see what we can find with consumer science again. We may not get anything, but who knows, we might get something. Okay, so now we're quite small, this 5, but these may be useful ones for us to look at and see what we can find, and then change our term to be a little bit broader if we needed to be, like maybe back to maybe education. And so maybe not quite that broad. Let's see. If I can think of another good term. I'm going to look back at that consumer science again. So what I'm doing is I'm playing with my key terms to help me find what I'm needing. And I was going to look at these again, clearly on distance, or maybe this family life education or teaching. What if we put in teaching? That might be a good one. It's smaller than just education, but it's still quite broad, so you may want to narrow that down just a bit more. So that's how you kind of play around with terms and see what you can find. So that is all I wanted to show you in the database, but let's go ahead and look at a few other things. I don't know how many of y'all have been using Google Scholar, but I like to show that. I'm going to just get into Google Scholar real quick. And then I'm going to show you, I accidentally closed that other page, so Let me just grab that real quick again. So on Google Scholar, I'm fixing to show you these 5 steps. And so if you needed to look this back up, it is on the main page under Family and Consumer Sciences Education with that Databases tab. And they're listed here if you wanted to look at it again. What is really nice about Google Scholar is, of course, we all know that Google can do very nice searches, getting almost anything it can think of and running the terms to the best of their abilities. Whereas if we match it with the library, then you're getting both, the best of both worlds. So the power of Google with the power of the library, and I'll show you how to set that up. Under Settings, at the very top of Google Scholar, then if you look on the very far side under Library Links, then you can type in Texas Tech and then search. And then you want to make sure it says Texas Tech University Libraries at full text at TTLib. And if you want to add this Open World Cat, you can. You don't have to. That is just a large catalog that a lot of libraries, almost every library in the U.S. and Canada uses this service. And make sure you save it to your browser. Then I'm going to run a search. I know if I use this term, which is not really on topic, it will show me what I want to show you. So we're not really looking at what we're searching for now. We're looking at our results. So here, this full text at TTLib, that's what has happened. So Google has looked for anything that has motor skills on the web. And then now this is the power of the library coming in. It's interacting with our library. If we click on that, it is our old friend, the SFX Links Resolver page. So I can click on one of these and get right into the journal as I had been in the database. And one thing you need to know about Google Scholar is it doesn't populate to a new window, so you have to click back. And if you don't see the full text at TTLib, like this one doesn't have it, if you click on this More, a lot of times you're going to find it at TTLib. That means we don't have it electronically, but then you'll have the option to interlibrary loan that just right from Google Scholar. So that is a nice feature if you want to set that up on your home computers. It should work on campus because it's set up by IP range. But if you're, off campus, or if you run home to Austin for the weekend, you can still do the same research you could here on campus. Okay, now the last thing I wanted to let you know on this screen is we also have included on your page the off-campus login and the information about the SFX, and then this evaluation form down here. If you take the time to fill this out, I appreciate it. It just gives me some information to build a better demo for the next class. Also, a better website. If you think there's something that is not added on this screen that you would like to see added here, feel free to put that in there and I will be happy to add it. It doesn't take but a second. And then the last thing I wanted to make sure is there any questions that y'all had that you needed to ask about the library? You've had a problem, like you've run into a block and you need to ask a question? I'll be happy to help you figure out how to maneuver around that. I see we have a few people typing, so I'm going to wait just one more second. And then I was going to point out one last thing. Oh, good. Okay, good. All right. I'm glad to hear that. So I know that y'all are all starting your graduate studies. So the only other thing I wanted to add is I also have a page for the College of Human Sciences. Oh, I should have clicked that differently. I'll just click on this link over here, College of Human Sciences. And you may think about a citation management tool. Here is a chart that talks about the ones that are available and if they're free or not, and what are their best features. And you may want to decide if one of these might be useful for you to gather all of your information together. If you need help with any one of them, I would be happy to help you. You can feel free to email me or IM me, and I'd be able to walk you through, even at a distance, how to use any one of these. Right here, EndNote Basic does have a page that is built out for it, because technically this is the tool that TTU has kind of adopted. But I think any one of these is useful. So just whichever style you like best. Some basic differences here is depending on how much storage you have and then how many people you can collaborate with. Like one hindrance with Mendeley is you can only collaborate for 3 members, and that means yourself and 2 others, is my understanding from that you can't even get 4 people in the same folder. So depending on what you're working on, that might be a consideration. Okay, that's really all I have for y'all tonight. Let me go ahead and stop recording before we start hanging up. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. No. There we go.